I'm Iván Navarro, and I was born in Chile in 1972, and then I grew up there. I lived there until 1997, and then I moved to New York, and I've been living in New York since then. When I was around 15 years old, I became interested in music, especially underground music during dictatorship. It was the very last years of dictatorship, so things were more open, and you were able to go to those shows. They weren't dangerous anymore, but they were still underground and kind of difficult to know where they were because they weren't very advertised. But once you get there, it was okay, Before it was like a super dangerous. Police will come and take everybody to the police station, and people has to, sleep there, or something, But what was interesting that since during dictatorship was so difficult to be an artist for people, music became a very important tool because it was a very simple to put together a show, and it was very easy to take it apart or take it down and make it look as if nothing happened here, or at least you can just run away, if police were coming. So that was the beginning of those music shows. They were very, very simple. They were made in very marginal places outside, the centers. But that was the real, let's say, the real resistance to the establishment. And people were doing recordings live. You would bring your cassette and record the gig, and then people would pass those cassettes. Exchange recordings. And so that was, for me, was an obsession. I was very into doing that. It became a hobby, and I became a collector of a lot of music, And then actually, when I started the label, one of the first bands that I approached was one of the bands that I loved from that time that never published their recordings. So that was one of the first vinyls I produced, or I published, and the band is called Pinochet Boys. What's interesting to me about the exhibition is a combination of pieces that were made long time ago. There are two things. One is a piece called Drums, that is the first piece I made with drums, and that became opened many things for me to make new pieces. And that piece was made, I think, in 2010 or something like that. And then until now, 7 years, I'm still working with those ideas. So I decided to include that piece in the show because it was a good reference to the new pieces. And then there is another thing that it overlaps. There is a group of collaboration of pieces that I've been making in the last 5 years with another artist who is my wife, and her name is Courtney Smith. And when you enter the gallery, the lamps were made for a performance we did together, and these were pieces that they can still live on their own. So I decided to show them just as chandeliers. And then at the same time, we created this other piece called the Music Room, that is a little station to listen music with this collection of records that is music about revolution. And the whole show is kind of that's the brain.